Alright, number one thing, do not ask me why I'm in a sweater. Which, by the way, speaking of these beautiful background doors right here, well, guess what? This is actually probably going to be the last time that you're actually going to be seeing these things. I know we have a connection between these doors, don't we? Because I'm actually going to be moving, and I actually did not think I was going to be able to film a video this week due to the fact that I've been moving. But without further ado, if there's no intro, let's just get right into the perspective change. Alright, so let's think here for a second. How is a Christian homeschooler able to spread the word of the gospel to other people if they are literally home almost 24/7? If you said, well, you're doing it right here with these videos, well, yeah, you are actually absolutely right. But I'm talking about much more than just these videos. Because you see, the thing with these videos is that people have the choice to watch the video or not, and it's up to YouTube or Instagram's choice to let it pop up in somebody else's feed. Now, what I need to be able to do is I need to be able to go where people are at, and I need to be able to tell them all about Jesus. Now, where would a teenage boy just happen to find something like this? Oh yes! How about online video games? Or one specifically. Yes, that is right. The other way that I'm able to get around the border of not being able to tell people about Christ as a homeschooler is through video games. That is correct. If you've seen my Instagram post before, if you are watching on Instagram, you may have seen that I posted some stuff about my online Roblox, which is the video game, church services. There's one thing that you're going to want to know before I go on into any of this, is that Roblox actually has a little chat box thing in one of the top corners where everybody in the game can publicly chat and everybody can see what everybody says. So I'm just doing my normal routine. I'm joining in, I'm doing this, and I'm going to go and I'm going to pick a spot to claim my house in the game at. But as I do, I get this little party invitation thing that pops up on my screen for somebody in the game. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't usually get too many of these. Let me see what it is. Well, I go and press accept to see what the invitation says. Let's just say I am and am not glad I looked at that thing. Yeah, it was pretty stinking bad. And as I'm reading this thing, I get the feeling that's like, I get this feeling in me that says, okay, go claim your house, go put your house wherever you're gonna go and put it, then go to that party and stop it. So I claim my property where I go put my house, and I just go on my way going to tear down that party. So eventually I make my way down through the neighborhood that they have on there, and I eventually find the person's house. And thankfully, it looked like I was one of only 2 people who showed up to the party. And so this is actually where I'm not going to be putting in a lot of details about what the party actually was, but just know that it was not only was the person breaking the Roblox terms and service and conditions. If you get what I'm saying, they broke life's terms and conditions. Again, there was only me and one other person there, along with the party owner, making it a party of 3 in total. And so I walk up to them and I'm like, hey, stop this. Just shut this whole thing down. What you're doing is horrible. Like, you should not be doing this. And so the owner kind of argues back at me some, and the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what would Jesus say? Okay, let's type that in. And so this eventually went back and forth for about 2 minutes or so, I'd say. And then eventually I got the owner of the house to eventually get to the point of saying to get out of their house. And as I was leaving their house, I saw the chat thing up there. By the way, the people were talking in, and again, it was not good. And so as I'm leaving the house, I see in that chat thing, and they just go straight back to what they were doing. I exited their house and I started walking away from the house, but there was just this feeling inside of me. And it wasn't like an anger inside of me telling me I should have gotten that. Jesus should have won that argument. He should have opened the door for that to me win the argument. No, I can't describe the feeling that it really was, but in a way, I heard like this voice telling me, stop. Do not go another inch away from that house. Go back to that house. Do not go inside, but just go back to the house. So I'm like, well, I mean, I get the feeling of something. So I turn back around, I go to the house, and boom! I walk up to the side of the house, just the side of the house, In the chat thing, they're still going on about what they're doing. It's just absolutely horrible, and I hated to even see it happening. But again, that feeling was still there, and just out of nowhere, I cannot remember what sparked the moment for me to do it, but all of a sudden, I just started praying. This is something along what I said when I prayed. God, what these people are doing are horrible. They are not doing your will, and I know that you hate that. And I hate what I see is going on with these people. And so God, I pray that in the name of Jesus, this person would just lose their internet connection and they would just leave the game. God, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I just want them to leave the game because they are not doing your will and they are distracting me from doing yours. So with the name of Jesus, I pray, let their internet connection be disrupted. And so I left my eyes closed for just a few seconds. And so let's not forget, the person's house is still there. My little character in the game is still standing right in front of their house. And before I closed my eyes, I was seeing everything happen, play out right before me. And so it was just like this, my eyes were closed. I snapped. I left my eyes closed for just a few more seconds. And I opened my eyes. Guys, that person's house was nowhere in sight. Guys, this is bigger than you think. I prayed that, and with faith, I declared for something to happen to their internet so they would leave the game. I opened my eyes, they're gone. That is not a coincidence that just happened. Oh, their internet may have just crashed on them or something. Oh, they're probably just tired or something. No, they were having their good time in the game. I saw in the chat. They would not have just left right that. And this is also a perfect example of today's Bible verse, which is very well known. And it's Matthew 17:20. I tell you the truth, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would move. Nothing would be impossible. And how much better of an example of that Bible verse can you get than that example right there? And so here's the point of today's video. Faith is not fake, and faith is not something small. All you have to do is you have to really trust Jesus that he would do it. And that's the problem that most Christians and regular people even have these days. Is that we look at the probabilities in a human perspective and we think, what are the chances of that happening? 1 in a billion. Well, 1 in a million. There's like a 1 in 500,000 chance of that happening. Like, the chances of that are like 1 or 2%. Like, that's not going to happen. And odds and the percentages of whatever the chances of this happening don't even come into play when you just trust and believe God is going to do something for you. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like button if you are on YouTube, and if you are on Instagram, please hit the heart button or the like button if you like to call it that. I don't know where the wild happy is actually at, but until we meet again, whether in the air when we're going to heaven or sometime in our life, I'll see you guys next time, and until then, have a great week. God bless.